Hi everyone and welcome back to the Monster Closet. We have got some fantastic stuff for you today, some insane packaging from both 2005 and 2025 for some pretty interesting movies. We've got a huge stack here, that's done all of them, plus some novelizations. We've got zombies, vampires, Asian home invasion. We've got loads of stuff to do, so let's just go straight into it. I know you've probably seen it in the thumbnail because I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to use, so I'm just going to jump straight into the one you want to see, which is the liquid-filled DVD case for Anchor Bay's 2005 box set release of The Box of Blood. Look at that. When I was going through my DVDs the other day, I found this. I'd completely forgotten about it. But it's an absolutely fantastic set, featuring a 45-minute documentary where they're looking for Vlad the Impaler. We have Dracula, not the Coppola one, just a different one. Near Dark, one of my favourite vampire films ever. The Werner Herzog, Klaus Kinski classic Nosferatu take. We have Vampires Out for Blood and Vampires Daughters of Dracula. Not the Hammer Daughters of Dracula, this is a different one. I believe Belgian, possibly. But yeah, I just thought this was an insane package. This is now nearly 20 years old. This stuff has never leaked. It's not staining. It's just so cool, and it's such an awesome way to be packaging vampire movies. So that was a 2005 release. Back to a 2025 release, we've got the really insane Full Moon Features Ginger Dead Man set in the cookie tin. Look at that. That's amazing. I saw this on another channel, and as soon as they showed it, I had to get it. This is probably one of the weirdest sets I've got, but it makes total sense to have the Ginger Dead Man in a cookie tin. It's got the 4 movies plus the Ginger Weed Man, which is like a 45-minute lengthy short, and a little figurine in it as well. I think these are quite fun movies. I love Full Moon Features. I think they do really, really fun stuff, whether it's their old stuff like Tourist Trap, or whether you've got the newer stuff like this, the Ginger Dead Man, Evil Bong, Baby Oopsie, stuff like that. If you like Full Moon, you know what I'm talking about. It's not for everyone, and I totally get that. Some people will watch it and go, this is ridiculous, what is this? But I kind of feel like Full Moon have ended up being like the trauma for the early YouTube generation. There's lots of green screen now and things like that, but yeah, this set just looks so cool. I just could not pick it up. They do also do an Evil Bong 420 stash box set, which I'm hoping to pick up at some point when I can. Just hope they don't run out before I can actually get hold of it. But yeah, check out some of the Full Moon stuff. Now we're moving on to 2 recent Severin pickups. I'm doing them both together because they're both Bruno Mattei. So the first one we can look at is Rat's Night of Terror. So we have both the 4K, I believe. Is it 4K? Yeah, 4K Ultra HD master of it, which also comes with the Blu-ray and the soundtrack CD, which I really, really like. But also I picked up the novelization. It's a really chunky novelization by Brad Carter. He did the Cruel Jaws novelization as well. But what's really interesting about these is this isn't the novelization of the movie. This is the novelization of Claudio Fragassi and Rosalina Delati. Their original scripts. So when they were writing this and the next film I'm going to show you, they were basically writing Star Wars scripts for found footage budgets. So this actually gets to novelize the ideal dream of what they wanted the movie to be, which I thought was awesome. I did watch it the other day. It's a bit slower than I thought it was movie-wise. But I still really, really enjoyed it. I love Bruno Mattei. And any sort of 4K Ultra HD restorations of crazy Italian movies, I'm definitely going to be all in on. Speaking of which, we can move swiftly on to the second one, which is Hell of the Living Dead, aka Virus, aka 55 other titles that it's been called over the years. But again, so we have the 4K Ultra HD Master, we also have the Blu-ray, and then we have the soundtrack CD as well. I love the fact that Severin put the soundtracks in these as well, because I love soundtracks. I've probably got close to 1,000 records, and I'd say 60% of them are horror movie scores from various companies. If you've got any interest in seeing some of the really cool ones for those, just leave a comment below and I'll do a video on those, and because I think that'd be quite interesting. But again, comes with the novelization. This is huge. Very small text on there. But yeah, this again is what Claudio and Rosalina wanted to make from their script, but for budgetary reasons weren't able to. But yeah, I'm so happy to have these. I can't wait to read these now. I've watched both these movies again. I actually got into Virus because last Record Store Day, the soundtrack was released on vinyl. I'd never heard it, but I saw the cover and I was like, okay, yeah, that's entirely something I want to be a part of. So yeah, I picked this up. The 4Ks look brilliant. The picture quality is really, really good. And I just think if you're into your sort of Bruno Mattei Italian craziness, then these two releases and the novelizations, if you get them, are definitely worth the price of entry for those. Then the last on the 4K side, we're going to go for Return of the Living Dead. I have also got the DVD in this haul, which I'll probably skip over when I get to it. But as I've said in a couple of videos now, I want to make a full-on retrospective of all the movies. And this had the most amount of extras to get a bunch of juicy details from. I think it's got like 4 different commentary tracks from different people. So I rewatched it the other night. It looks fantastic. I would say this is the Shout Factory release, by the way. I would say that in the initial sort of warehouse scenes, it did seem overly dark. I don't know if maybe there was just a problem with my particular HDR on here or something. I've not had issues with other movies, but this one, it looked a little bit darker than I'm used to, but I'm used to a DVD rip. So, you know, maybe that's just how it was supposed to look. But watching it again, fantastic creature effects, fantastic story. This is like the ultimate punk rock movie. I absolutely adore this film. And I'm so happy to have it on this really, really pristine release from Shout Factory. And again, 3 discs of stuff on here for me to go through. So that video might take a while to do, but hopefully it's going to be well worth it when it comes out. Next up, we've got a Asian home invasion sort of social commentary about class within Asia and how you're viewed. This is Dream Home. Dream Home has some of the coolest gore set pieces I've seen in a movie like this before. It's part thriller, part horror. The story plays in between a flashback of what happens in a particular block of flats. And it's absolutely brutal. Some of these, it's fantastic. I don't think this has been as widely known as a lot of the other sort of Asian horror movies of the last few years. So I would highly, highly recommend checking this one out because if you like Asian horror, this is definitely going to give you what you want. I think that might be it for the 4Ks. It looks like it, so we're into my good old favourite, the DVD section. We're starting off with the original Art the Clown. I'm assuming Art the Clown's dad, possibly. 100 Tears. I can't really show much of this box because it's really, really gory. But again, this is a clown, black and white clown, noticeably bigger than Art the Clown. It's just kind of a splatter movie. It's very low budget, but it's really, really fun. And if you enjoyed more of the Terrifier 1 side, when it was a bit more rough and ready and a bit more grainy and scratchy, I think you'd probably really enjoy this. And yeah, just on the back there, the clown, the cleaver, and the split head. But that's about as much as I can show you on this one, unfortunately. It is an incredibly violent movie, and YouTube would take this down in seconds if I showed any of it. Then we have... So this was from my collection rather than a pickup. This is Frontiers, part of the new wave of French extremity that came out around sort of mid to late 2000s, 2010s. Things like, there was Inside, Switchblade Romance, a bunch of them. Some countries just seem to have spurts of these really crazy horror moments, and this was part of France's one. I haven't seen this for a long time, so I don't quite remember it. I remember the iconic bride running around near the end of the movie in the sort of white dress. I don't think she's a bride, I just think she's put in a white dress, sorry. But all covered in blood. A bit like one of the Wreck sequels, I think 3 or 4, where she's got the the chainsaw and the white wedding dress. But I remember really enjoying this. I think it gets pretty brutal near the end. Says here from Bloody Disgusting, one of the greatest genre films of all time, uber violent, heart-pounding horror, phenomenal. I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen this particular one and you like your French extremity wave, absolutely brilliant. Okay, so this one comes with a little bit of a warning. So this is The Pit, but you might also know it because they've changed the title since it came out to Jugface or Jughead. The warning with this one is this particular version, this DVD release, it's the 101 Films release. Again, which I've been through a bunch of times about how I love some of it and don't love some of it. So when I'm looking at these DVDs, I try to flick through them on my big projector just to see how they look, because that on the bigger screen, it gives me a much better idea of whether the DVD is really bad quality or whether it's okay. This one, unfortunately, was really, really bad quality. There's tons of deinterlacing. There's tons of like artifacting as it moves, which is a shame. On a smaller screen, it did look a bit better, but once I knew it was there, I just couldn't stop seeing it. But the movie itself is really good. It's kind of a solid, almost cozy, woodlands-based Irish-British film where a jug maker fires in his kiln the jugs he makes, and if they look like your face, then you need to be kind of sacrificed. And the lead woman on the front there finds that one of them looks like her, so she tries to hide it, and then things just explode out from there. The film itself was really good. I really enjoyed it, but I would say probably skip the pit release and see if maybe the Jughead release is a bit better, or maybe look for it on Blu-ray or something. But yeah, try and avoid this one because the quality is really substandard. Because I also want to do a big video on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I have picked up the original again. So this is who is this by? Is this not Anchor Bay again? No, it's not Anchor Bay. Oh, it's Universal. Okay, but I just really like the cover of this one. It's quite an understated cover. A lot of them are quite sort of in your face. But yeah, I just wanted to watch it again. This was, I don't know, this was like £2 off of eBay or something. It was dirt cheap to get hold of. It's got a bunch of extras on it, including a 72-minute documentary called The Shocking Truth, which I'm pretty sure I've seen elsewhere. But it's cool to have a hard copy of that, so I can refer to that as I'm doing the videos. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, Toe Pooper. This one, I can't really show a lot of this. So when I got into the J-horror that I was talking about in my first video, one of the directors that came out there that I found that I really, really enjoyed was Takeshi Miike, a prolific director, made a lot of things, probably most famous for Zatoichi, the Blind Samurai. I think he's done a few of those. He's directed some. I think he's also been the Blind Samurai. Whether that was in his own movie or someone else's, I can't remember. But this is MPD Psycho. So essentially, what I can remember of this, I did start watching the first episode, but it looks like almost like Twin Peaks meets the X-Files, but based in Japan with really twisted killers. And the one thing I remember is he was turning people's heads into like plant pots and growing flowers out of them. I remember it being really, really disturbing. But unfortunately, when I was trying to do some shots of this, I realised I can't really show any of this box set because there is some real strong gore just on the covers alone. But it's a 3 DVD set, so it's a whole series of 6 episodes. I remember at the time having never seen anything like it, and I don't think I've seen anything like it since. So I'm going to go back and revisit this, and I might do like a little episode ranking or something. But yeah, if you want kind of the Japanese Twin Peaks, check out this. Then we've got 2 lots of 2-for-1s. So I did pick up, just because the new one's coming out, so I picked up 28 Weeks Later, but I already had 28 Days Later. So 28 Days Later, this is like a rental-only copy. But yeah, I'm really excited to go back to these. I've always loved these movies. I've watched the first one a lot more than I've watched the second one. So I'd like to go back and watch the second one again, just before the new one comes out. But yeah, I'm really excited to watch these. And I'm really excited to see what he does with the next one because it looks so strange. I know he says shot on iPhone and things like that, a bit of a gimmick. He did this one on DV Cam, and I think there was also a gimmick with this one. It's obviously not really shot on iPhone. They've got lenses on the phone that cost like more than a car. So it's a little bit of a gimmick that he does with most of his movies. But yeah, I'm really excited to rewatch these, go back to them, and see how they stack up, to be honest. I mean, the first one was probably 20 odd years ago. Looking for a year, can't find a year. Yeah, anyway, yeah, they're very old. The second set of 2 that I found, so doing these videos, I've been going back into my DVD collections. A lot of them have been sat in lofts in boxes and stuff, and I haven't looked at them for a long time. And I found Spawn 1 and 2, Todd McFarlane's Spawn 1 and 2. There is a Series 3, but I don't have that one. But I really, really adore these particular animated movies. They're quite long. I think they were basically episodic and then put into one giant feature each. So this is, so number 2 is 111 minutes and number 1 is, it's 88 minutes. So they are just sort of feature length. I thought they were longer than that. But yeah, Spawn 1 and 2. If you like anything to do with Todd McFarlane, I think you'll really enjoy these. They're the Spawn version of sort of the 90s Batman and Superman. They're not as good as those, obviously, but they are like the definitive Spawn experience on screen so far. Much better than the actual movie that came out. And we've got a bona fide classic from Anchor Bay back in the day, the classic Joe Spinell in Maniac. This is a wonderful, wonderful film. It's just so deranged, so strange, so odd. An absolute leader of the video nasties era. So this is from 2002, so real classic Anchor Bay DVD on this. And it's just got special features coming out of his ears. There's loads and loads of stories, even like a 51-minute documentary on Joe Spinell himself, who was a bit of an icon of these sort of movies for a time. So I'd love to learn a bit more about him, because I know him by face, but I don't really know anything about him as a person. So I'm really excited to watch that. But yeah, Maniac. And if you like Maniac, I could really, really recommend the Elijah Wood remake. I've only seen it a couple of times, but again, on vinyl, I have the score to it. And I absolutely love the score. It's this huge, really ominous sort of synthwave soundtrack. It's really, really good. So yeah, this one obviously a bona fide classic. I'm sure everyone watching this has probably already seen it. But check out the remake as well. I actually think it was really good. And another one that's been remade. So this is the original David Cronenberg's Rabid, remade a couple of years back by the Soska sisters. I actually got to see them screen it at Fright Fest in London. I do prefer this one. I think the original is better. But basically, a woman undergoes an operation and ends up sort of needing blood or flesh. I think more for the blood side of it. Yeah, it's just another one of David Cronenberg's gross body horror movies that if you like that kind of thing, you'll love this. And this is from the David Cronenberg collection. So I don't know how many more of these they put out. This is from Prism Leisure Entertainment. So yeah, I'm very excited to check this one out and delve a bit deeper into David Cronenberg. Then we have... So this is a fun film, but does, again, come with a bit of a caveat. So this is Incident in Ghostland. This is a really, really good sort of home invasion. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away about this. I would say don't read anything about this. Don't watch anything about this. Just watch the movie. Unfortunately, it does seem that the director was a little bit lax with his stunt people, and one of the main actresses got quite badly scarred, facially scarred, while making this movie. And obviously, if you're an actress in Hollywood... having a huge scar on your face is almost a career-killing move. But people in the film should be on their safety for stunt people at all times. I mean, there's been too many losses of people, especially in recent years, due to just lax safety protocols. So it's a really good film, but I just kind of wanted to point that out before you watch it, just in case that kind of means you don't want to watch it or support it. But it is a very, very good film. Yeah, again, go in blind. Don't look anything up about that one. So we're getting down to the last few here, and we've got some very strange ones coming up. So again, in a recent video, I told you about Total DVD and how I got popcorn for free off the front. Well, I found another one in my collection, which is Amityville The Curse. Something I think I have on like Blu-ray or possibly even 4K at this point. I think Vinegar Syndrome have put a load of the Amityville movies out on at least Blu-ray. And I think this is one of them. But yeah, just again, another sort of free off the front of a magazine DVD that I've kept. Yeah, just a bit of an oddity. I just think it's cool to show those off. This one I think has a little bit of a fan base. This is 2001 Maniacs with Robert Englund. It's not the best movie in the world, but it is quite fun. Momentum Pictures. Yeah, again, I don't really want to go too far into what it is, because if you don't know what it is, I would say just watch it as is, because it is a little bit weird and it is a little bit surprising at times. But yeah, it's just another fun, like mid-2000s, early 2010s horror movie. That's kind of my favourite era. That's when I was really getting into horror myself, so I watched a lot of these as they came out, some in the cinema and some on the DVDs. But this is one I've had since it released. But yeah, Robert Englund in 2001 Maniacs as the mayor of a very odd town, I would say. Okay, we're down to the last three. So, Cradle of Fear. This one most notable for the appearance of Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth, the black metal, extreme metal band, who are actually playing near here in a couple of months. I didn't know they were still going. This is the full uncut 2-hour Gorefest version with a lovely like supermarket style sticker on the front there. Yeah, this is an anthology with a wraparound. It's a very low budget British horror movie. It got quite popular at the time, I think, because it is quite gory, and it also features Emily Booth, who was kind of the British 2000s version of like Elvira. not in the goth dress, but she was just in a lot of different films, and she was a pull for these sort of movies. She also works a lot in the horror industry, doing lots of interviews and stuff like that. So she's in this, and it was quite a big selling point. But yeah, there's some cool gore. It is very, very dated for what it is, but I still enjoy it because I have a nostalgic like of it, because when I was much, much younger, I thought this was the coolest thing ever, just being a little bit of an edgelord, really. But yeah, Cradle of Fear. Maybe check out some trailers before you dive into that one. Then we have, actually, let's switch these around. So just off the back of my Return of the Living Dead Necropolis and Return of the Living Dead Rave to the Grave, I dug out House of the Dead 1 and 2. So this is the one, and this is just the box for 2. But it does have both of them in here. It has both discs. I regard these films so highly, I just slapped both discs in here and kept one thing. They are dumb, stupid movies. I still have a bit of nostalgia for them. Sid Haig is in this one for a little bit, so I quite like that. But yeah, these aren't the best. They're U-Bowl, so, you know, take your pick with those. You take your chances when you watch an U-Bowl film. They are okay to watch, I think, but you have to be the kind of person that can deal with a U-Bowl movie. So maybe again, check out some trailers before you actually watch this one. Yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, great. If not, probably just avoid it like the plague. And to finish up, we have a sequel that I didn't even know existed. So I found this in a charity shop. This is the sequel to Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, called Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer 2, Mask of Sanity. So there seems to be a continuation of the Henry franchise, obviously loosely based on Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole's murder rampages around the US. But he's now played by Neil Giuliotti instead of Michael Rooker, who I think was the original Henry. Yeah, it looks quite a low-budget affair based on the back again. Who's put this out? Mosaic Pictures put this out. I've literally never heard of those. But yeah, I just picked it up because I'd never heard of it. I didn't know there was a sequel. Yeah, I will report back once I've watched it and see if it's actually any good and worthy of the Henry franchise, because the first one was a pretty unflinching look at serial killers. So I'm very interested to see what happens with a lesser-known actor and what looks like a lot less of a budget. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So thank you so much for watching again. And again, I'm just going to flash this up again because it's so cool. There's the box, liquid-filled DVD. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. There's a bunch more videos coming, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.